Welcome back, Junkies on 106.7 The Fan. It's JP, Cakes, EB taking your calls now on the Hadid Carpet Cleaning List line at 800-636-1067. Bill Cowher, former Steelers coach, CBS studio analyst for NFL Today, joins us at 8:10. Let's go right to the phones. Who's up? We've asked the question if RG3 is worth salvaging at this point.
I believe the room is in agreement. I'm a no.
Yeah,
We've seen enough. I'm with Rick Snyder.
Ready to move on, and he's not going to come back to haunt the team. That's laughable. Let's go to Tony in D.C. Tony, what's up?
This is Tony from D.C.
That's you, my friend.
Yeah, the salvage of RG3, I don't think any quarterback is going to be salvageable with that offensive line that we have. I think that the Redskins need to focus on building the offensive defensive line. I think the last time before y'all went to break, that's what one of you all were talking about.
Right.
In the draft.
Right.
I think they should focus on in the draft on building an offensive line. The last thing I want to say is Sunday night, Romo had 7 seconds. If you give any quarterback 6-7 seconds, which is a good offensive line, but
he may have had that at times. He's not going to get that every time. I mean, most quarterbacks have to be able to deliver the ball in 2 to 3 seconds.
You're right. And the truth is, there are times when RG3 does have time. As we've mentioned over and over and over again, the other guys who have played behind this same offensive line get sacked far less frequently. Kirk Cousins was sacked 8 times. RG3 in less starts has been sacked 20. He holds on to the ball too long.
All right, let's go to DJ in D.C. DJ, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Johnson, man? Part of y'all touched on what I was saying. My man just stole my thunder on the 7 seconds move, man. But follow me, man. Yeah, okay, most good head coaches and offense coordinators can cater their offense towards the talent that they have. That's what Kyle was good at. We don't like Kyle's father, of course, but Kyle was excellent at catering the offense towards what RG3's skill set was. If Gruden would stop saying, okay, this is my system and cater towards what he's good at, we wouldn't have that problem.
He doesn't want to do what he's good at.
Well, hold on. He's trying to. He is trying to. Did you see the game plan? He's
I didn't
good
see
at
any rollouts. I saw not one rollout. You leave a rookie over there with Alden Smith and Justin Smith one-on-one?
I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
Can I ask you this? Do you believe that if the Redskins had a really good offensive line that Robert would shine?
I think he'd be better than he is now.
Would he shine?
I can't say he's shine.
I don't think he would.
Slightly above average. But if he goes to Kyle and we get rid of him and he goes to Kyle, he'll gain some of that 20.
Let me tell you something. Kyle doesn't want him. I promise you that.
Yeah, Kyle doesn't want him.
I promise you that.
He's done with RG3.
Yeah, he's got a little RG3 clone in Johnny. He doesn't even want him.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate the call.
Let's go to Daniel, Alexandria. Daniel, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, on the whole thing, if RG3 is done, if you take a look at his college numbers were in the Big 12 whenever there was no defense going on at all. I'm a UT fan. I'm going to tell you, we played no defense there. All his plays were when he had 7-8 seconds to throw the ball down the field, had a high completion rate there. Now he's in the NFL. He doesn't have that kind of time. He's not good at the mid-level throw. He doesn't read defense as well. He has to go. It doesn't matter what kind of offensive line you put in front of him. If you give him 4 to 7 seconds, he's still going to misread the linebackers and the safety coverage. He's done.
It's just not a natural thing for him. Thank you, Daniel. I tend to agree with you.
I think it's becoming more and more apparent. EB, you were mentioning that Grant loves to point out 2012.
Well, I want to give Grant some credit here, and he's been saying it for the last year or so, and I'm sure that people are really paying attention to what he's saying. Listen, they went on this miraculous run in 2012. Remember, this team was in kind of the same boat. They were 3-6, right? And Mike quit on the team.
Yep.
Literally publicly quit on the team. And then they went on that run. And Robert had basically, I would argue, maybe his best game on that Thanksgiving day.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was unbelievable in the middle of that run.
Against the Cowboys.
They won 38-31. He was 19 of 27 for 304 yards, 4 touchdowns. And we were on fire. I was pulling my pants down, in front of 50 relatives. But after that, it's not like we're basing Robert on 3.5 or 4.5 games. You can actually go back and look at the deterioration and the falling apart of Robert's game going back to 2012. After the Dallas game, November 22nd, Monday night, he threw for 163 yards against the Giants. Against Philly, he threw for 198. Against Dallas, he threw for 100. And then in the game there where he fell apart, it was over. 84 yards against Seattle. He had one game in his last 5 where he threw for over 200 yards, and that was a win over the Ravens in overtime.
But he was rushing for a lot of yards and creating offense that way. So his meager passing yards were being overlooked.
Some, but not as much as he did earlier in the year.
Yeah,
because he started to get hurt. He started to get broken down. I think he started to lose confidence, and the play started deteriorating, people, in 2012.
Also, and Rick Snyder alluded to this, the league was figuring out the read option. Slowly but surely, that wasn't being as successful as it was earlier in the season.
Yeah, but see, I watched San Francisco, and they run a lot of read option, and it's not just Colin running. It's not just Kaepernick running for 5 times. It's him handing it to the running back.
Agreed.
Another 5 times. They run it a lot.
Tannehill does it in Miami, but it's sprinkled in. It's not relied upon.
Jay Gruden said it. It's already been reported. They don't think Robert can run it. They don't think he can. Now, I would probably beg to differ. I think he can. But I think they know he's going to get hurt, and they're just trying to stay away from it by and large.
I just know this head coach, besides maybe what he said initially when he became the head coach, once he started to work with RG3, you can't find glowing comments. You can't.
No. The writing's on the
Kirk
wall.
Cousins taking over in that Jacksonville game, and he said, cross that bridge when we come to it. Later on, jury's still out. Now it's clock's ticking.
Well,
there's never anything positive.
In between that whole batch where he criticized everything, we'll just call that the he sucks presser.
Right.
He had the he sucks presser, the clock's ticking.
Coddled.
We're coddled. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Today it's, I understand the receiver's frustration. It's over. Trust me, it's over. Jay is not going to hitch his wagon and his $20 million and his one shot at being a head coach to this clown. Oh. It ain't happening.
And by the way, whether or not you believe the veracity of the initial report, he's alienating the locker room and doesn't have many backers in there. He was a captain in 2012.
Disaster.
In 2014, they said, no, you're not the captain anymore.
How about that vote wasn't even close? It couldn't have been. And for those that say he needs more time, I tweeted this yesterday. I'm going to shove it. I'm just going to keep repeating it.
Was he get 5 or 7 years? Is that enough time?
Right. Do you understand what the average NFL career is? The average NFL career is about 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
We're ending year 3. That's where we're at.
And it's not looking very promising.
Okay. What do you want to give him? 10 years? The average NFL career is 3 years. The average. Blaine Gabbert got 27 starts. Jamarcus Russell got 25. Matt Leinart got 18. Ryan Leaf got 16. Achilles Smith got 15. Cade McCown got 13. Roberts had 33. What more do you need to see? He sucks.
If Bill Cowher's on hold, he's going to be like, what kind of show am I going on? What's happening here? What is going on?
Well, but they won in 2012. He sucked for down the stretch in 2012. They were riding Alf's back. I'm all in on Grant Paulson's point there when you go back and look at it. I give Grant credit for pointing that out. We all got caught up in the mania. I called him Gandhi. I said he was bust-proof.
Gandhi.
You got to be able to own it.
I'm sure Gandhi had a good 40 times.
For the record,
he had a money spiral.
For the record, since 2012, I've called him RG Screen.
That's fair.
That's all he's good at.
You're good at
Sideways passes.
JP also backed Ryan Leaf.
Go back to 1998.
I mean, you know what I mean. This is what it is.
Okay,
but the epic one. Listen, but the epic
if you want to clear that up, that was before we saw him in an NFL roster. I just said that Peyton Manning looked dorkier.
Yeah, you just saw him shredding Pac-10 defense back in the day.
You backed the wrong horse there. I backed the wrong horse here.
But once I saw this guy in the pros just go sideways, everybody falling in love with all the yardage after the catch. I mean, he has 2 touchdown passes this year. One of them was an end-of-the-half drive, which was dump off, followed by another dump off, followed by a dump off, which Halou took like 33 yards.
All he does now is check downs. And maybe a seam over the middle, or maybe Deshaun Jackson with like a 10-yard crossing route. He just does not look downfield. He pats the ball. He holds on the ball for 5 or 6 seconds in the pocket, and then he gets crushed by 3 guys.
Look, Sean Glenn, I was talking to him the other day. A guy played quarterback very high level, right? His brother plays quarterback for Tampa Bay. He explained to me very simply. He said, look, these drops, these quarterbacks, It's 1, 2, 3. Hit that back foot. You let it go.
You release it.
1, 2, 3. Hit that, whatever the 5-step drop. Hit that back foot. Let it go. He doesn't let it go. He's actually a pussy.
No,
He's
you'll
tough.
take that back.
No, here's the thing. Understand what I'm saying. He's tough. He'll take a punch. He'll put his body at risk. Mentally, he's shot.
1, 2, 3.
It's a shot fighter thing.
1,
Throw
2,
in the
3.
white towel. Go get him, Mick. It's over. It's over. He's shot. He, in his head, is a pussy. He's a tough guy. He'll beat my ass, but that he's still a pussy up here. Jello for
Mentally
brain.
fragile.
Mentally fragile. Shot fighter. I don't know another analogy to give you.
You got to get it all. Just get it all out. This is 2+ years of you backing RG3.
I backed him. I said he was bust proof.
Yeah.
I'm mortified.
Too bad
This
he
would
didn't
be
produce
like
all those
you know what-
T-shirts.
You know, if my son committed murder, I wouldn't be this frustrated. I mean, it's unbelievable. He just sucks. And a lot of people knew it. Read the scouting report. We did it yesterday when the 900 of us were here for 48 hours. Read
Terrible
the scouting report where the two guys gave the donk from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel the exact perfect diagnosis of Robert Griffin III. He has terrible footwork, he can't see the field, and he's a dick.
Locker room diva. Remember how we scoffed at that?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, he couldn't be a higher character guy.
Google the article. Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, 2012, Scouts rip RG3. They nailed it.
Valdez, you know the bit. We need to bring in like a blood pressure cuff when he starts talking about RG3. It's going to be shooting through the roof.
Like one of those Fitbits.
Oh, yeah. To monitor whatever.
And I don't want to hear from people, oh, you're a terrible fan. I'm a realist. I'm a normal person.
No, dude, this is your heart. You loved him in 2012 when you're winning games.
All right, Bill's on. I'll try to take a breath here. I have a lot of respect for it.
I don't think our next guest, Bill Cowher, former Steelers coach and current CBS studio analyst for NFL Today, he probably hasn't screamed that much in his whole career.
I don't know if he heard it.
Yeah, hopefully he
But
didn't
Bill,
hear it.
if you heard it, that's how you get ratings.
Bill?
What are you guys talking about?
Well, you got a frustrated Redskins fan who called RG3 bust-proof in 2012.
He had all the tools. Let me just give you the deal. You know the deal. Coming out of college, son of the military parents, bright kid, graduated Baylor in 3 years, put up all the gaudy statistics, had the awesome pro day. Everybody loved everything about him. I said he was going to be like Gandhi, Bill. He was going to bring this community together. He got off on that great start in 2012, and then because of a variety of different factors, injuries and everything else, it just isn't happening. It's over, Johnny. Bill Cowher, legendary NFL Hall of Fame coach. What is your take on where we are right now with Robert Griffin
He's
III?
a little exasperated, in case you couldn't tell, Coach.
Hey, listen. Let me say this about RG3, and I think we all were enamored in the first year with his play, and as we should have been. I think we saw that. We saw Colin Kaepernick. We saw that kind of player do things that kind of taken the NFL by storm, and certainly with the injury. I think when you look at last year, it was tough. He was not the same player. I don't think he was 100% healthy. As it takes that injury at times, it's different with different players. We've seen a lot of the things that go on. I mean, obviously the view from the outside is that there's a degree of enabling that's happened with the young man. We saw Coach leave. I'm not sure exactly what the dynamic was, but the bottom line is you have a coach come in right here in Jay Gruden. He's trying to change the culture. And I think that, in the course of doing that, we saw this play out last week in the media, unfortunately, but sometimes it's necessary. And I think when you're going to change a culture and you're trying to make sure to create a degree of accountability with everybody, and it starts with Jay. He knows that first of all, and then it trickles down and trying to make sure that everybody understands where they are. But in terms of the development of RG3, I think the one thing that we have to understand, I think you look at him, is, he was hurt. He got hurt in week 2, the first quarter, and came back, and he's only played now 3 games. I mean, this kid missed, 8 games. And that's a lot of time to be inactive in the National Football League and not only missing 8 games, but then also in a new system. So, this is a kid again that what's his future like? I don't know. I think we got to let this play out. I mean, and see what happens for these final 5 games. I like the fact that he's playing them. A decision will have to be made at the end of the year of what direction they need to take. I think that for Robert Griffin, it's right now, it's just about developing as a football player. Don't be comparing yourself to anybody. Don't be worrying about what other people are saying. I think the biggest thing right now is he has to develop as a football player on the field in this system, and then whatever happens from there, it's out of his hands. But the most important thing he can control is how he plays each Sunday, how he practices every Wednesday. He needs to become a good teammate, and he needs to become a better player.
Talking to Bill Cowher, legendary football coach, won Super Bowl with the Steelers in 2005. And you coached Cordell Stewart for a long time, and I wanted to get your take on this because what people that are looking at the film see with RG3 is a guy who holds on to the ball too long, bad fundamentals, doesn't see the field. You got the most out of Cordell Stewart. He started as slash, but eventually you made him your starting quarterback. Is pocket presence, is reading the field, seeing the field, is that something that you can actually coach up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing I look at a guy like RG3 and, two, also a guy like Colin Kaepernick. We've watched him struggle this year. And here's what I said to me, the athletic quarterback, it's a blessing because you also have the ability to use this guy with his legs. He knows he can escape early with his legs, but it's also a curse because it also gives them the early opportunity to leave and not go through their progressions, not to develop as a quarterback. So, I look at these guys and, Russell Wilson does a very good job with his legs. And if I would just say one thing with RG3, having a mobile quarterback, and we did it at times with Cordell, was we used to have the draw. We're going to play that enough just to get him as a threat. But the biggest thing is he had to develop as a quarterback. He had to be able to read defenses, and understand where to go with the ball and to be patient in the pocket. I mean, that's the biggest thing I would just say. Patience in the pocket. You can get out of there, but sometimes the tendency is to want to get out of there a lot sooner than you really need to. And I think that's the thing that he has to look at himself. He may not think he's doing it. I sat down many times with Cordell, as I'm sure Jay will sit down with RG3. Watch the film with him, just you and him. Sit in there because sometimes the player isn't aware of what he's doing. When you say it to him, yeah, right. Well, if you're in there with him, be very specific in what you expect from him. Be very specific with what you consider that he needs to be looking at, and become repetitive with it. The one thing I would say is cut back. Sometimes when you throw so much at a young kid, he's still a young kid.
They can't cut back any more. They have him throwing sideways just a few times a game, 1 or 2 shots downfield. There's no more to cut back.
Well, then it's a repetitive thing. I mean, and we're sitting here, and you can't sit here and judge him after every game. I mean, he just played a very good defense, and I'm not saying he's playing well. He's not playing well.
Right.
And again, he's not in a good place. So how do you move forward? And I think that's the thing you have to make a decision on. Is he okay looking at himself critically? I don't know. I'm not in that room with him.
Right.
But I just know right now that I've seen this kid throw. I think that he can be a quarterback in the National Football League. I think he does have some outside things that maybe, I don't know if at this point he's hit rock bottom. I hope that he has, because I think from that standpoint he can now not worry about what the perception is and deal with the reality that you have to become a better football player at your position. And that's the best way that you can lead, is that you accept all the criticism, and when you have a good game, you deflect all the credit. So if you learn to be able to do that and prove that you can become a durable quarterback and then still continue to develop, then you have a chance.
All right, Coach, with all due respect, let's just suggest this hypothetical, and I want you to respond to this. If I was Dan Snyder and I paid you some money and I wanted you to consult with us, okay? And I said, Bill, what should I do? But this is the premise, okay? My coach doesn't want to coach him. Just read the tea leaves, read all of the comments. It's obvious. I've said all week, I'll be stunned if he's starting this week. I think they're going to lose the team. We're in a damn near mutiny mode. So let's just say, just stipulate to my hypothetical. They decide to move on. You're Bill Cowher, the consultant. What would you do and tell this organization for next year? Would you suggest going down the draft another rookie quarterback route? Or would you suggest fix the other holes, the offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary, everything else, and kind of have a stopgap guy for a year or two. You're a consultant. You stipulate that they've given up on Robert.
Well, if they've given up on him, number one, I would just say, if you're going to do that, you still have another year with this quarterback. You still have another year under the contract, the original contract that he signed. I would encourage them not to do that. I really would. I mean, if the dynamic is so damaged that it cannot be repaired and you were to move on, then what is the plan in place? I mean, where's my draft? What am I looking at from the draft standpoint? I do have other holes in this football team besides quarterback. What are the situations with these other two quarterbacks? Is there one of those guys that I can stay that can operate this offense? You still need to have someone at that position, and you need to have someone that you feel comfortable with. Now, they saw Colt McCoy, what he's done. They've worked with him. We saw, Kirk Cousins, his body of work that they had. So you have to have somebody. You're not going to get rid of all three of those guys. Okay, so that being said, the other element of this is, this is the first year in the system. I would encourage them to be very careful about making a rash decision when you don't have to. If you have this quarterback for another year, why are you going to get rid of him? Unless the dynamic is so damaged, and so unless it's to that point, give him a chance. The kid has been humbled. The kid's going to give him a chance to come back into camp. Why get rid of the kid in the fourth year when you don't have to?
Well, because
so I would encourage and make sure that that's a bridge that if you want to make sure you cross that bridge and cut it off, so be it, but make sure you have a plan in place.
Right. All right. Thank you, Bill. You've forgotten more than we've ever known about football. I appreciate all your
You can
input.
watch them Sunday mornings, NFL Today on CBS. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Hey, I'm glad I had a chance to talk about the NFL. That was great.
Thank you.
People
Thank
here
you.
are fired up.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
All right. Good
All right,
stuff.
it's Bill Cowher,
Look,
former Steelers coach, and he coached a guy, Cordell Stewart, that he gave him several years. So maybe you do go the patient route. And RG3 is just a backup.
Patience is one thing.
And you hope that as a backup, somehow he gleans the ability to read defenses, get rid of the ball quicker.
Jay doesn't think it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, top.
He decided it in the preseason. He's been laying the foundation for this, people. We just have to come to grips with it. Bill has a different opinion. Bill also is in the Hall of Fame, right? Is Bill,
Right. He's
Bill
in the Pittsburgh Hall of Fame. He's not in the Hall
in the
of
National
Fame
Football.
yet.
Okay, he should be.
He will be at some point.
He would stick with him. He might have more rope. Okay, Jay Gruden, this is his one shot. He toiled in the minors, right? He was barely in this league for a long, long time. This is his shot. I don't think he wants to hitch his wagon to Robert Griffin III. I really don't.
All right. You heard Bill Cowher. We want to hear from you. What do you think should happen with RG3? 800-636-1067.